Oh boy, as if the Israeli-Gaza situation wasn't messy enough. Here comes Gohmert, well known as the dumbest congressman in America. Very hard title to win, but he is the reigning champion, and he tries to prove it on a daily basis. Here's his thoughts on what's happening with the Palestinians.
In Israel right now, there is a battle for peace in Israel. They are being embattled by a group who teach their children in the educational materials we help pay for to hate Jews, to hate Israelis. They teach the people to hate Israelis as well. They name streets and holidays after people who kill innocent people. It's time to cut off every dime of American money going to anyone who has any kind of relationship with Hamas, those killing in the Middle East, and especially in Israel.
Now, if you watch that speech, you might think, I guess we're giving a lot of money to Hamas and we're not helping Israel at all. Of course, the reality is 100% the opposite. We don't give a dime to Hamas, and we give over $3 billion to Israel. So I don't know who he's railing against. The president agrees, the entire Congress agrees, everybody agrees. But in reality, he does have a political agenda here. And the idea is, if Hamas and Fatah, which is based in the West Bank, which is the other part of the Palestinian faction, have any kind of deal at all, which Netanyahu is opposed to, and we're sending money to Fatah in the West Bank that has nothing to do with this conflict, well, maybe we should end that money too. In fact, as Professor Walt from Harvard's Kennedy School of Government pointed out, Netanyahu might have started the war in the first place to make sure that he split Fatah and Hamas. Now, if Fatah wants to keep the aid coming in from the United States of America, they might want to renounce Hamas and split away from them. Oh, look at that. They're not unified anymore. We can't have real peace negotiations. Mission accomplished, because they didn't want peace. They want to continue to build more and more settlements in the West Bank and continue the 47-year occupation. If you wanted to end the occupation, I think 47 years was enough time to figure out how. It doesn't appear that this current Israeli government wants to go in that direction at all. In fact, it seems like they've gone a long way going in the opposite direction. And of course, who's there to help them but U.S. congressmen like Louis Gohmert? And by the way, he says, can you believe they named streets after people that killed innocent civilians? Well, several Israeli prime ministers early on were part of terrorist groups like Irgun, and I call them terrorists because they are the literal definition of that. They killed civilians at hotels to try to drive the British out of the Palestinian area so that they can declare the state of Israel. Now, that's not a disputed fact. Israelis will acknowledge that. Now, later, one of those prime ministers signed a peace deal with Egypt. So the issues are not black and white, and they're all, one side is guilty and the other side is completely innocent. And there's been violence back and forth. But the idea that Israelis would never name a street or anything after people who've killed innocent civilians, you might want to look into those facts. Okay, now, if you think this is all bad, of course, Louis, as always, will go a little wilder.
It's time to bomb Iran's nuclear capabilities. It's time for the United States, if we're not going to stop Iran's nukes, then let Israel do it. A friend will not put another friend in this kind of jail.
Oh, look at that. Mission number 2, make sure you bomb Iran. Now, we have to bomb Iran because they are developing nuclear capabilities. Well, it's funny that Louis would say that now, given the news story from today. The UN nuclear agency has said, and reported by the BBC here, Iran has turned all of its enriched uranium closest to the level needed to make nuclear arms into more harmless forms. Correspondents say Iran's completion of eliminating its most worrying uranium stockpile is a promising sign that its leaders do not want to derail the diplomatic process. And a new report from the International Atomic Energy Agency says Iran is observing all of its other commitments as well. You know what that means? It means diplomacy is working. It means that our negotiations with Iran are going well. Well, we can't have that. Well, look at that. There's a convenient conflagration in Gaza, And God, we've got to make sure that we cut off funding to all the Palestinians and furthermore bomb Iran. What does that have to do with Gaza? We got to bomb them. But we just got what we wanted. I mean, obviously the negotiations are going to continue. We want a long-term solution. But so far they've done everything we've asked them in the negotiations, and we got rid of their worrying uranium, according to the people who are the inspectors. Who cares? Bomb them anyway. Right-wingers in the U.S. working with right-wingers in Israel to drive all of us into more war. That's not an accident. That's the whole point.